So, what other people had an impact on your football journey as a kid?
Well, I mean, small world, but my grandpa was also a football player, and this is not my dad's dad because my dad's parents immigrated from Mexico. That's the Garcia side. That's the Mexican side. They were laborers in the fields. My mom's dad played professional football. He was a fullback at Kansas State for the Wildcats back in the day, back in the 30s,
Yes,
and
sir.
then he was actually signed by the Washington Redskins coming out of college, and he ended up getting released, and then he signed there. At the time there was this Pacific Coast Professional Football League, and he played for the LA Bulldogs, and he played with them for about 4 seasons, and then he entered. It was right around World War II, and he entered the military, and from there on, he went into coaching, teaching, was a high school coach, settled in my hometown of Gilroy, which is where my mom grew up, and he was the high school football coach there in that town. But outside of just the family influences, I mean, that was a tremendous influence. And actually, my grandfather and I, at the time when I came out of college and played in the East-West Shrine All-Star football game, the college All-Star game, he had played in it coming out of college back in the 30s. So we were the first grandfather-grandson combo to play in that game. And so we had that honor to share, and he was the honorary West captain for our team that day. And it was a great family experience for all of us to share. But you know what? Growing up in the Bay Area, growing up watching the Raiders, the great Raider teams of the 70s and early 80s, and then the great 49er teams of the 90s, 80s, and 90s, I was exposed to a lot of great professional football. And also collegiately, Stanford, John Elway. I watched him play one day on a Saturday afternoon, ABC Saturday college football, right? Keith Jackson, the announcer, former great Keith Jackson, and Stanford was playing Ohio State, and it was a hell of a game. And John Elway was on the field, and I remember after that game, I'm like, gosh, I want to be like that dude, John Elway. But you know what? Watching Ken Stabler for the Raiders, Jim Plunkett, who I would meet later when I was still a kid and he was playing. I was able to meet him because of his work with the Special Olympics. And then Joe Montana. I mean, those guys, and especially Joe, he was my idol growing up. I wanted to emulate myself after Joe. I wanted to be like Joe. And so those were the guys that were major influences in my life. And then being able to have somewhat of a relationship with Bill Walsh. When Bill Walsh was coaching at Stanford University in the early 90s, and I was playing at San Jose State University, we played against each other. And Bill's a former San Jose State Spartan himself, but he had already been a great 49er coach. And this was he was getting back into coaching and coaching Stanford. And, he had said some great things about me after a game that we had when we played against him. And so he really did help pave the way for me as far as my opportunity to join the San Francisco 49ers in 1999 after my CFL career.
This concludes our episode today, folks. We greatly appreciate the support. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our up-to-date content. And if you like this video, hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. We welcome you back next time.